Alrighty, Advanced Farm Life. Hey, made a video on this little solar generator. It's a 50 amp hour battery, and I'll take you in here. It's got 50 amp hour battery, got all the connections here. The video is going to take you through that whole thing. I wanted to make a quick video on putting this thing together. This is just going to be for the house. Power goes out. It's pretty simple. It's only got a couple of USBs, USB-C, 12-volt adapter, a light, and this little 500 watt inverter. Anyway, I wanted to make a small video on this, but as it went, as I was putting it all together, I got 2 hours of this, and I know that's too long for something like this. So I made some changes along the way when I did this. You'll see it in the video. I'm going to try my best to cut it down to about 25 or 30 minutes, hopefully a little less. But I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe, and I appreciate any comments you got on trying to put these things together, because they are, if you've ever built one, they don't seem to go as planned. So I hope you enjoy the video, and thank you for watching. Alrighty, Fans Farm Life. I'm going to go ahead and build this little solar generator. It's a tiny one. It's tiny comparatively. This is basically just for the house, charging some phones, maybe plug something in, but it's nothing big. It's a 50 amp hour battery. I'm not really sold on this battery particularly, and I might change this one out. So anyway, it's going to be relatively simple. This will be the major connections on here. It's got a USB-C, USB, 2 cigarette lighters. I'm planning on just plugging in. I have a little 500 watt inverter that just plugs in with cigarette lighter, so probably what I'm going to use there. I was going to hook everything into the batteries just because make it easier, but now it's making it not so easy. So I got a couple of bus bars. I haven't laid out everything in here yet, but I'm pretty sure the bus bars are going to go right over here. I'm going to cut these little lips out. They're going to go right here. This contraption I just showed you is going to go over on this side here. All the wires, I've already stretched them out. They will reach over here. I have 2 of these SAE connectors, and they're going to go over here as well, probably down a little bit lower. One for a battery charger, and one for a solar charger. And these cables also are long enough to wrap around and hook into the bus bars over here. I did buy this fuse. It's 40 amp fuse to stick on here, and I'll probably use it. I was a little concerned that the lid was going to hit it, but it kind of fits right up into this little hole right here. So plus there's it's about 2 inches here from here to here, so it fits. I haven't had a problem with it. I did buy a 10 amp charge controller, so I got to figure out how I'm going to get this hooked into it. Haven't figured that out yet, but we'll figure that out. And I did accidentally buy this battery monitor. I think this is the screen here. So that's the screen, and then this hooks into the battery. Looks pretty interesting, so I might, since I got it, I might use it. I'm not sure where I'm going to put the screen. It might go right here. So, and then I've got another light. I don't have it with me, but the light might go here. So I did buy a bunch of these little connectors with fuses in them, so if I need to use them. As you can see, this Bauer toolbox. I just got this at Harbor Freight. It was on sale. I think I got it for 60 bucks. I've cut a piece of wood to go down on the bottom. It fits inside, and then it's cut out so the battery will fit in there. So I can't have the battery any higher, like I said, because it'll hit this. So I painted it black. I was letting it dry, so we're going to get that done. So I'll get it laid out. Like I said, I'm probably going to take these off. Going to take these off. And then we'll get the... I might even put another piece of wood here and here, so I can screw these, well, at least here, so I can screw the bus bars on. Anyway, that's an overview of this, and we'll get back when I start getting ready things ready. Alright, we're going to start by getting rid of these ridges. Seem to work on the bottom ones. We'll see how this works here. Don't have a lot of room. Alrighty, this side's done. I got the piece of wood that goes in there. That's getting painted right now. Alright, we'll move over to the other side and pull those out a little bit. Don't need those in there, just a couple little spots on this side. I'll get it lined up. We'll come back. Alright, we're going to take out this other side. We don't take out as much. I was just going to take out in between these two pink marks, because that's where the things are going to go. But I might also just take it all the way down, give myself some wiggle room. Alright, I'll touch that with the grinder too, and then I think we'll call this one good. Alright, I got this laid out. I don't know if you can see. I've got a 1.25 inch hole saw, which fits over those sockets. So I'm going to go ahead and get these drilled out. I'm going to precariously set you right over here on the vise. See if we can, hopefully we don't fall while we're drilling. Hopefully I can hit the center of this. Okay. I'll get this cleaned up. That's what we got. We'll get it cleaned up. I'm going to have to get and sand these ridges down so I can get the thing all the way across straight. But I'll get this all cleaned up. We'll come back. Okay, well, it lines up fairly decent. This hole here is a little off. I kind of just took a razor blade and rounded it out. Anyway, we'll get this back together, and well, we'll go along for the ride, I guess, on this one. Okay, got this fed through the hole. Get the nut fed through everything. Alrighty, so I got all these in, and actually I swapped out one of the cigarette lighters for another USB right here. This is just 2 USBs, so I'll have basically 3 total USBs and then 2 USB, whatever, and then this is just a cigarette lighter. So hooking these back up, it's kind of like hooking up your outlets, the positives. So white goes on basically white, black goes on the brown color. But these are kind of opposite, because your red is your power, so red goes there, and your black is your negative. That goes there, goes there, goes there. And I'm going to go ahead and test this out again. I got a small battery over here. Just going to put that on there. Get it to go in there. Yeah, let me. It's a little 7 volt or a 12 volt battery, but a little 7 amp hour one. It's got little tabs on it. So anyway, we'll hold it like that. And then there goes my power, and then you can turn it back on, and you can see the phone is charging again. So that's it for hooking these up. I guess you can see that right there. Alright, so it's this step down drill all the way through. And I cut one of these off already, just so I can get in there and test it. There we go. That's perfect. Fits right there. Okay. I'll have to do the other one, and then we'll have these in. I will have to take them out. I won't hook this back up yet, because I have to get that piece of wood in, and I believe I'm probably going to have to take all of these back out. Also, what did I do here? I was talking about having a power meter on there, and thinking I got the wrong one, but this is what I did. I have this thing here has a voltmeter on it, so I'm going to have to take this one back out that I put in, put the other 12 volt in, so I can have 2 of these 12 volts, like that. This way I'll have more of those. I'll have the 12 volts, so I can plug in the inverter if I need it. So I thought I knew I did something to counteract that. Anyway, I think it's almost time for me to eat dinner, so we're going to go ahead and stop right now, and we'll come back later. Farm life out. Alrighty, okay, got my boards painted and dried. This one is going to go on the bottom. The battery is going to fit right in here. I'm going to put that one in a little bit later. I still got more stuff to drill out. This is the one I'm going to put in now. This is going to have the bus bars hooked to it. So we're going to get this one in next. I was going to use some roofing screws to hold this in so we don't have any leakage from the outside. But this isn't going to be outdoors, so I'm not too worried about it. So we're going to go with this, put this one in first and get the bus bars kind of situated, and then we'll go from there. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, I guess I'm going to install this. I popped this little Bauer nameplate off, so if for some reason this doesn't work the way I want it to, I can still pull it out, put the Bauer thing back on, and hide the hole. If I do like it, I will just cut out around the Bauer and stick it back on here. So anyway, I'm going to get tooled up for this, and we'll come right back. Alright, I got my layout. I don't know if you can see that because I'm using black marker on a black box, but I'm going to go ahead and use the multi-tool and get that cut out. And I'll stick you right back. This is the vise I'm sticking you on right here. Stick you back on the vise. Yeah, hearing protection. Alright, got it cut out, but I got some cleaning up to do and a little bit of fine tuning, and we'll see if we can't get that in there. Be right back. Alright, I think it will fit in there. I just got to push it all the way in, but it can be too hard to get back up. But it looks like it's going to fit. Might be need a little bit of trimming on the edges. You can see how that piece wants to go in, so it's pretty close. You think I could cut a straight line? So anyway, I'm going to go get the light. I think I just need to put the light and a switch. And I think that's all. I'm going to try something new, a little live action here. There's where I want the hole. And this hole doesn't matter how big it is, as long as it's just not gigantic. Let's see if that'll cord will fit in there. Let's go a little bit bigger here. Let's try that. Don't want it too big. Let's see. Oh, there we go. And then this will go like this. Basically, there you go. So that's what it'll look like. Okay, so that's there. Now we'll get the switch in down here. Alright, as it turns out, the holes I drilled for those charger cords is the exact same size as this switch right here, which was basically this all the way through. So I'm going to try here. Oh, this is going to be right. Hold on. I might have to move it a little bit. Now that I think about it, I got that rib right there. The rib right in the center. So I think I'm going to move it over. Although I'll just take that whole rib right out when I drill it. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. I don't want to make it too big, so there's that rib right there. cut that out of there. Yeah, I think we're good right there. So I'm going to cut that rib out, and we'll see how well it gets. Okay, the board fit. Just getting it out now. It's in there. It's in there. So I'm going to try to screw it in from the bottom just to hold it. And then once I get the battery in here, then I'll put something to strap it down around the battery or whatever. So, all right, I got all my holes drilled, got everything drilled. So I guess we're gonna start installing things now. So come back and we figure out what's next. All right. So this is where how my bus bars are gonna go. I pre-drilled these holes for the negative. And of course, if you've ever built one of these before, you know that things change. Okay. That's in now. Whether that's how that ends up, that's debatable, but it's in for now. We'll go on to the light, I think. Alright, we got this light lined up, centered in here. Drill a couple holes. Fastener. In. All right. Okay. I told you yesterday that the positive went on the bronze and then the negatives went on the silver, but in this case, the two positives go on the silver, and you got two positives because this light switch is lit up. So the bottom positive will go to the light. This will go to the bus bar. And then this will get attached to the light, and then there'll be another third one that will go to the bus bar, the negative bus bar. So let's see if I can get all these in here. Take you along for the ride. There we go. I think that's in there. It's about straight. Okay, so last thing I'm going to put in is this deal here, and like I said, I think I gotta widen it out a little bit more. Oh. Okay, I guess we're in. Okay, I spared you all the boring stuff here, just connected all the wires together. So on the light, the two negatives, the negative from the switch, negative to the light, I added another negative. That's going to go to the bus bar over here. The positive, the second, I guess the middle positive, goes to the bus bar. And the lower positive goes to the light. So that's all hooked up. These are all hooked up. They got 20 amp fuses in them. Alright, made one little error. I forgot. Since I'm not running anything to a fuse block, I bought these fuse wires basically, and I forgot to put it in there. So I got this in here now, and we'll get that hooked up to one of those down there. And then I think that's it. Alrighty. So here is my solar charger. And it's, I think, 10 amps. That's what it says on the back here. It's 12 volts. I think it goes to 10 amps. That's what it says on the front here. The 10 MPP. So I already got this this is what I was having some concern with, is how am I hooking this up? This is what the solar panels are going to get hooked into that have to go to the charge controller. And I was going to just make it so the charge controller I could, can add in when I needed to. So I don't really always need to charge it with the solar charger. So, but I bought some stuff by mistake. And these here, sorry about that. So I bought this by mistake. But actually now I think I'm going to make it work. I think what I'm going to do is swap it out, because it's the same thing as that. And then I'll just have this in here like this. And then when I go to use the charge controller, it hooks in right here. And then this hooks into the battery. So, except that I got it kind of backwards, because this is how I want it, because that's right side up. But obviously the input is right here, so it's basically like this, because that's the battery, that's the solar panel, so it's upside down. But I think I can make this work. This is the beauty of doing these things, because you're not exactly sure how things are going to line up. So I'm going to mess with this a little bit, see if I can't get it to work the way I want it to, especially after I already connected that back together. I'm going to have to cut it again. And I don't think I'm going to use the fuse on it. It's not very, I think this charge controller has protections in it, so I think I'll be okay with that. And like I said, majority of the time I'll be charging it with the plug-in. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and redo some stuff, and we'll come back. Alright, this is the contraption I got going. So what I'm going to do is this is the cord coming in from the outside that I swapped out right here. And it hooks into the charge controller, and then it goes into the bus bar right here. What I'm going to do is cut this out, probably cut this one out, and maybe notch that one. And I'm going to Velcro this to the side like that. And then I can pull it off and put it up here and look at it. That's pretty much how that's going to roll. Alright, that's what it's going to look like now. Getting it off of there. I might have to do something with the Velcro on this side, because when I pulled this off, the Velcro didn't come apart. Just this came off the Velcro piece. So, yeah, there might be a little bit of adjustment to that. Maybe actually get some glue and glue that piece onto here. So anyway, that's where that's going to go. I'll get some other Velcro to hold this stuff up. Maybe put a piece there. That might be all right there. But get that up out of the way like that. All right, so I'm going to use this circuit breaker. It's a little 40 amp circuit breaker. It has my on-off switch. The battery comes into the top one right here. And then this one goes to the bus bar. So I'm just gonna tight quarters here. I'm gonna pan out a little bit here. All right, that's not going anywhere. All right, we are almost there. You can see it's dark in here. So you have a on this thing. Hope you can see. It's a B-. This goes to the battery, You got an L minus. This one here goes to the load, which is going to be the bus bar. You have this red wire right here. This goes to the power. It goes to the battery, which is going to go to here. And then this USB, this is what hooks into the monitor. Now, I think the way I'm going to do this, if I end up keeping this, is throw a piece of Velcro right there. I think I can reach the battery. I think it reached there. If not, I got these cords backwards. But anyway, we'll get the battery in and we'll see if I'm messed up or not, because I might have to redo these cords now that I think about it. So anyway, I'll come back. Alright, this is a moment of truth. So that's not on, that's not on. You look back in there, that's not working, so we're gonna turn this on and see what happens. Okay, so we have the battery monitor, and that's 13.3. You look down in there, I think you might be able to see it, that says 13.2 volts. And then if we go over here, we'll turn this on, and that one says 13. So I guess it depends on where you are in the line. I just got to figure this out here, what I'm going to do with this thing, because it's just not, I really don't like it. I should have made this line a little bit longer. So it's still an option. I think I got some more of this black cord somewhere. So I might just make this one a little bit longer so that it fits a little bit better over here. Then I can Velcro it in. And the lid will close. Everything's still there, yeah. And what I think I'll do once I get this all fixed in here so it's a little less jumbly. I still got to figure out a tie down for the battery. I think I'm just going to get a bungee cord, screw an eye bolt down in here, and an eye bolt down in there, and just bring it across. I think I'll have to redo this anyway. I got to put this down, so that'll have to go anyway. But and I got to put the covers back on there. So this looks like it's a good connection. I'll get everything put back together correctly. I'll get everything wired so it's not so jumbled down in here. And then we'll come back. We'll do a little bit of testing, I guess. Not much to test on this. I do have that 500 watt inverter, but you know, you're not going to run anything big on it. So maybe a light. So anyway, so we're almost at a wrap on this, but we'll get a couple more things to make it a little tidier, and then we'll come back. Okay, this is the way this works. There's one end, and then I just got it tied onto the bench here. And basically, you pull this rope here, and it tightens it up. You see, stays tight. I'm not going to yank on it. I don't want to. But then there's a little lever right here that you just push in, and then you can just pull it and loosen it up. So I'm going to have one end hooked in here, one end hooked in there, pull the strap and tighten down the battery. And I think I'll just trim this. It comes, I think, in 8 feet, 8 feet of line. I don't need that. I also bought some Velcro to wrap around here, and I put a little Velcro piece there. Try to just hold them out of the way. This side here, you can see this or not. I just put Velcro. I had tie wraps on there. I just put Velcro on them. This makes it easier, makes it look nicer. Anyway, I'll get the battery here and we'll get it tied down and show you how that works. Alright, let's see. there's not a lot of room in here, so I got this end. I'm going to stick onto this eye bolt that I showed you earlier. And then on this end, we'll put on this piece here, making sure that this piece here is accessible. So we want that basically on top. There's not a lot of room in here. So as you can see, I got that end in there, I got that end in there. You basically just pull on it like this. Set you right back down here again. Just pull on it. And now that's not going to go anywhere. That's pretty tight. It's pretty tight. This is not going to go anywhere. The only thing that I can do is in the, you probably can't see down here because it's all black. I'm going to get a couple of shims, door shims, stick one side or the other, just kind of to push it up against there. I'll paint it black so you can't see it. But this is it. This is tying down the battery. That way when you lift this up, close this a little bit. You lift this up, it is kind of heavy. Oops, yeah, set you over here. Alright, set you right there. I mean, you can do it one-handed. It is a little heavy, but it's movable. I think we'll just leave this in the house. Alright folks, I just want to give a quick recap on building this solar generator and a couple of changes I made during the process of building it. First of all, first thing I did is I swapped out this little unit right here. This was a 12-volt adapter with a plug that had a voltmeter, USB, and USB-C, but the USB-Cs did not work on my watch. And it was kind of bulky because it just kind of stuck out, so I just swapped it out. Got one that has a USB-C and a USB, two USB 3s. So that way now I have 3 USB-Cs and 3 USBs. The other thing I did is I swapped out the battery. The battery that I had in here originally, I had problems with it, would not charge, would not stay charged, would not run more than a couple of hours. So I got this, it's a DC house. You can see that right there. DC house battery, it's the same 50 amp hour, 640 watt hours. Second thing I did is mounted the 500 watt inverter onto, put a board on top, mounted this to the board. I did that mainly for ease. I was going to store this inside the box, but it didn't fit. And this is more practical. The connections for the cigarette lighter go right here. I got them stored inside the box. That's easy. It goes from here right into here. Easy. And then the third thing I did is I mounted the battery monitor to the top just because it's easier to see. I replaced this Bauer plate, covered the hole back up because you had to, this is going to be sitting on the floor. You had to kind of get down to look at it. This just is makes it easier. Don't really like the monitor, but it is functional. You don't have to bend down. You can see what you're using. Those are the four main things I did on this. And then I just wanted to go over really quickly the wiring. I used 10 gauge wire. I don't think I'm going to get more. I got a 40 amp fuse right here. So 10 gauge should be sufficient for 40 amps. I have a 40 amp breaker right here. So I did a bunch of testing on this, which I'll show in a video. I'll leave the link in the description. And nothing ever got hot, no breakers blew. So anyway, Please like and subscribe. Appreciate you watching the video. And Farm Life out.